Well, I don't know if we're good. We're ready.
Great, never mind, good.
We're good enough.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Old Songs. I'm Joy Bennett, I'm the Executive Director of Old Songs, and this is our fourth concert since the, since the pandemic. We're glad that you're all here. It's great to see you in person. We hope that we will come to the rest of the season. We'll talk more about the rest of the season later during intermission. But in the meanwhile, I've known John and Trish for more years than I care to think about. Maybe not as many as I talked about last week, but but we've been known each other for a long time, and you're in for a treat. You'll notice the dance board over there. There's going to be clogging, there's going to be fiddling, there's going to be banjo playing.
There will be
and
clogging.
Hi out there to you in streaming land. Just wanted to say, you will notice that there were people at the back who were standing next to the camera. They're going to be standing there during intermission so that you don't trip over the camera legs, because that's borrowed equipment. Anyway, without any further ado, John Kirk Trish Miller.
For coming. It's wonderful to see so many people that we haven't seen in way too long, and to have an audience in a living room like setting. This is pretty great. And that tune you might have heard a lot of people play. It's a good dance tune, a good old time tune, Fly Around My Pretty Little Miss. It's sort of our sound check tune, but really, we don't have a sound system coming out to you guys. We have the natural 19th century sound system. so I think the sound check tune must have just been for the computer. But hi out there in computer land, too.
Trish and I have been teaching at a couple of different schools, Skidmore College and Bennington College. And it was really interesting last fall because they allowed in-person teaching again, so we were all in masks. And then towards the end of the semester, I wanted to meet with this one class. I wanted to meet with them all individually, so we just met in Zoom meetings. And I didn't recognize them. I had to look at the name on the Zoom meeting, like, oh, that's Grace King. That's what Grace looks like.
He knows what their mask looks like, but
I know them all from here up. I recognize them all.
And they all had to sing from behind their masks, but it was not easy to hear them, but they could hear themselves pretty well, and they still enjoyed singing. And we're hoping that'll be the case with you guys tonight. If you feel like singing along, this is a sing-along chorus from a traditional tune that comes from Texas. Originally, the tune was called Down by the Brazos. The rivers mentioned in our version are from the Adirondacks, from this area. We changed the names to protect the innocent, so to speak.
We changed the names because we needed a song for a school program. And we were thinking, oh, well, why don't we write a song that has the names of all these rivers? And there already is a song.
There's already a good one.
So we
Let's use
just,
that.
that's what we, okay.
But the chorus to the song, we'll show you how it goes, so you'll sing that part when it comes around.
Lie, 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 lee, 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 give me your hand. Lie, 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 lee, 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 give me your hand.
One more time.
Lie, 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 lee, 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 give me your hand.
There's many a river.
There's many a river that waters the land.
There's many a river that waters the land is the last line. And lie, 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 lee. That part happens 3 times over. You want a sip of water?
No, I'm good for now.
Good.
We'll try. Okay. We just had Chinese food, so I'm.
It was delicious, but
We crossed the broad Hudson, we forded the Mohawk, swam the Ausable and fished in the Boquet. Ragged River runs rusty, the cold river clear, but by the St. Regis I courted my dear, singing lie, lie, lee, give me your hand. Lie, lie, lee, give me your hand. Lie, lie, lee, give me your hand. There's many a river that waters the land. The sweet silky Marion runs glossy and gliding. The crooked Cateroceros runs weaving and winding. The slow strewn river swells with the rains, but I'll never walk by the St. Regis again. Singing lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand. Lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand. Lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand. There's many a river that waters the land. The girls on Moose River, they're plump and they're pretty. The black and the Saranac have many a beauty. Down by the Sacandag, there's girls by the score, but I'll never walk by the St. Regis no more. Singing lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand. Lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand. Lie, lie, lee, lee, give me your hand. There's many a river that waters the land. She hugged me and kissed me, called me her dandy. Cedar River is rocky, the salmon is sandy. I hugged her and kissed her, called her my own, but by the same Regis she left me alone. Singing lie, lie, lee, give me your hand. Lie, lie, lee, give me your hand. Lie, lie, lee, give me your hand. There's many a river that waters the land. Singing lie, lie, lee, give me your hand. Lie, lie, lee, give me your hand. Lie, lie, lee, give me your hand. There's many a river that waters the land.
ooh, thank you. That was
Oh, that's so
wonderful.
nice. One of my favorite courses I ever took at school was being in a chamber singer group at Fredonia College. And it was all seniors and graduate students, and a couple juniors were in there. And I was a freshman, a lowly freshman, but a tenor. And tenors are needed sometimes. So I would just sit in that class. I don't know how many days, or how many pieces of music were sung where I just lip synced the words just to hear those voices. And it was a moment like that just then. That was really lovely to hear you sing. So
A fiddle tune.
a fiddle tune.
We,
Imagine that.
we have a tune that's called "I Married Your Daughter and Yet I Didn't." And we figured that the title of this French-Canadian tune, is that what it,
Yeah.
I think it's from there,
Yeah.
was the minister. I mean, he married the daughter and yet he didn't. And that's our story, we're sticking with that. But the second tune is called "The Woodchopper's Reel."
I asked Pete Sutherland about a translation of that title, and he said, it's kind of more like, you say you're going to marry my daughter, and yet you don't.
Oh,
Yet you're
that's
not
more
doing
ominous. Now I know.
Sure.
Yeah, take the people off.
We're supposed to do that while I'm playing it too.
Oh, that's why the chair. We'll do it next time. We got more French-Canadian tunes coming up later. And we'll work on the footwork with that. I'm gonna do a song now that I learned from Alexa, actually. I was listening to folk radio while I was cooking in the kitchen and had Alexa playing, and I heard Loudon Wainwright III do the swimming song. And at the time, I was working on writing a song because I love lying in a lake on my back doing backstroke and swimming in the summer. It's so beautiful up here, and that's prime time in life for me to do that. And then I had been writing down and trying to figure out, you know, what kind of sort of like comfortable song could I write and come up with. And I had a few words, but then I heard Loudon Wainwright's song, and I said, that's the song I was trying to write. And so I decided to try to learn it. So here we go. And wish me luck. I hope I don't drown. Let's put it. We'll play it a couple
We won't
times to
drown.
get in the mode.
I'll paddle close by.
Close by. In the former I wore my suit. I wore my swimming suit. This summer I swam in a swimming pool in a reservoir. Oh, you gotta try again. This summer I went to the ocean and I swam in a swimming pool. Got salt in my wound, chlorine in my eyes, and self-destructive. Self-destructive. This summer I hit the backstroke, breaststroke for you all. What's bird looking? I did a cannonball. I did a cannonball. This summer I went swimming. This summer I almost drowned. But I held my breath and I hit my feet and I moved my arms around. I moved my arms around. Thank you.
One of our favorite things to do in the summer is we do some programs at Great Camp Sagamore, in the Adirondacks, and there's a really, the lake is maybe a little over a mile long, I think. And so one of the things that Trish liked to do up there was take
A long
a
swim.
long swim. So we swam, she swam across the lake, and I rowed a boat, and I trailed a fly line with a marabou leech on it, sinking tip. Anybody is interested. Not a single nibble, no fish with a fly at all. But about 50 feet from shore on the other side, it's a beautiful beach there, and about 50 feet from the beach in the water, it gets to be pretty shallow. So I knew if Trish got that far, we're great. I can fish. But I'm rowing alongside her, and she's getting a little ahead of me because she's a really good swimmer, and she's getting up there, and this loon came out of the water right in front of her. She's like, "Whoa!" And they're big.
When they're up close,
Loons
they're
are big.
way off in the lake, they look little. Up close, they're big. But he didn't touch me, but he came real close and let me know I was too close to something. He didn't like me being there. Also, a friend of ours who runs a loon project to help take care of the loons and preserve them, Nina Schock is her name. She was at the beach and she said she had studied loons for years and had never seen a loon do that to a swimmer. I said, aren't I lucky? Let's see if we can.
Okay, we have a song. It's an old country song, actually. It's a satire of an old country song. The song, these words are written for pandemic times. So hopefully this song will be history and we won't have to sing this one. But it's originally a song from Hank Snow from Nova Scotia. And turned out it was one of my dad's favorite singers. But I grew up in a house where I never heard Hank Snow in the house unless my mom was kind of making fun of it. But I think my dad really liked country music. He liked Jim Reeves, Hank Snow, Hank Williams. And cause I found these records that I didn't know we even had. But my mom listened to Tommy, Jimmy Dorsey, and Glenn Miller, and that's what she liked. And she liked Rosemary Clooney and singers like Matt Monroe, Swoon, and
She liked Robert Goulet.
and she liked Robert Goulet. But my dad liked country music. I'm really sad that he didn't live long enough for he and I to talk about that sometime. So this is a little parody. The words are written by Chuck Mead, and they really tell a story here. I've added a zebra mussel thing on the back of my guitar, so it sounds a little. Well, maybe it doesn't.
Just give the song a go, that'll.
Nah, it's lost it. Sometimes it doesn't work. Here we go. I was traveling along, playing anywhere I could. But along came a virus, took away my livelihood. Well, somebody picked it up, they spread it round worldwide. And now for a while we have to all stay inside. You ask me how I'm
How
doing,
you doing?
and if I wash my hands and I say, listen bud, I've had about as much of this as I can stand. 'Cause I ain't been nowhere, man, I ain't been nowhere. Been sitting in my chair, man, growing out my hair, man. Sleeping I've done my share, man, I ain't been nowhere. I mean the bedroom, bathroom, living room, dining room, attic, basement, just a planet old room, hallway, driveway, same place as yesterday. Go cook, read a book, drive around the Christmas tree, glass clean, get a drink straight from the kitchen sink. Can't blink, guys blink, bang, do my clothes stink. I ain't been nowhere, been sitting in my chair, man, growing out my hair, man, sleeping I've done my share, man, I ain't been nowhere. So tomorrow we celebrate, Monday is the actual date of Trish and my 35th wedding anniversary.
We're not going anywhere.
In those 35 years, plus 2 years of courting, and 2 years haven't met each other before that, we've done exactly 4 jigsaw puzzles together in our life. All of them last year. So this is about board games, in case you did some board games. I'm playing Yahtzee, Jigsaw, Scrabble, and Monopoly, Jenga, Checkers, Cards Against Humanity, Fortnite, Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto 5, Battleship, Pac-Man, Black Ops, Tail, Obstacle Course, Sugar Daddy, Gold Golf Ball, Mousetrap, Ping Pong, Happy Hour, Zoom Call. I ain't been nowhere, well, I ain't been nowhere, been sitting in my chair, growing out my hair, and sleeping out my share, man, I ain't been nowhere. And we watched a little TV.
A lot.
Still, that hasn't stopped at all. We picked a heck of a time to give up cable.
What you watch?
I'm watching Netflix, Apple TV, Disney Plus, and Amazon, Hulu, Roku, Tulu, and Amazon, Tiger King, Schitt's Creek, This is Basic, South Park, Tiger King,
Start
Let me
over.
start again. I'm watching Netflix, Apple TV, Disney Plus, and Amazon, YouTube, Roku, Hulu with my jammies on, Tiger King, Schitt's Creek, This is Basic, South Park, Star Wars, Star Trek, Ozarks, Ketchup, BBC TV, Monty Python, Mr. Bean, Lysol, Quarantine, see now what I mean. I ain't been nowhere, I ain't been nowhere, been sitting in my chair, man, growing out my hair, man, sleeping out the my share, man. I ain't been nowhere, I ain't been nowhere, man, I ain't been nowhere, been sitting in my chair, man, growing out my hair, man, sleeping I've done my share, man. I ain't been nowhere. There you go. You want to play this?
Wait, just a second. I gotta get to the right.
Sure. Oh, there you go. I want to play this. I was tuning the mandolin just a few minutes ago, and I didn't have my strap, and this is a heck of a thing to try and hold up. I mean, there are players that can do it really well, but this strap is an Allen Block strap, and I went to George Wilson and I took a trip in 1978 with Alan, and I was telling all my friends, I was at the ripe age of 23. I was telling all my friends, I'm traveling with this really old guy, and he plays great.
He
And
wasn't so old.
he was 54 at the time. But you know, when you're under 30, everybody's ancient. So So we had a really great trip to western New York and then down to Pittsburgh, Washington, Pennsylvania, into West Virginia, Berkeley Springs. I met people on that trip just have stayed friends with ever since, including the Critton Hollow String Band. We stayed at one of their houses, and they played our wedding later, 35 years ago. But anyway, George and I really haven't taken a road trip since that trip in 1978, but we took one in 2018 or 17, one of those years, over Hill and Dale to Alan Block's house. And Alan was home, pretty much staying in bed most of the time, smiling. He couldn't converse, but his friend Paul, his son Paul, was taking such great care of him. And George and I played tunes with him for about 4 hours and sang songs and did things. And towards the end of and some of you who know Alan, are lucky enough to know Alan, you'll appreciate this. So I had my mandolin with me, but I really hadn't played it. But I took it out and I went, oh. So I handed it to Alan. I said, do you know this? And Alan looked at me and he goes, like the first moment where he was just with it, right there. And he looks at it and he starts, if you ever had anything made by Alan, you know this. He would do this with leather, he would just, the way he touched it. And there his hands were working the leather again, doing this, looking at, and Paul, who's the greatest person, caregiver, and greatest son to a father you could imagine, was being like slightly patronizing, going, Poppy, you made that. Poppy, you made that. And Alan went, just gave him the look. I went, oh, for a moment we had him right there, just the way he always was. And so I'll never forget that. Think of that when I pulled the
But
strap
also, when they were playing, Alan started conducting from the bed, and he gave a nod, and then after John played a tune that Alan had never really given him much in the way of compliments. He was, he complimented him by inviting him to travel and play with him on the road and stuff. But John was playing a tune he learned from Alan, and Alan gave him the okay. That was great. And John was like, Alan gave me the okay.
I turned to Paul, I said, I think that's the first compliment I've ever had.
But one of the most happening places at the Old Songs Festival for many years was at Alan's leather booth. By his sandals and such, and there was always some jamming that would happen, and that sort of became the street jam in some ways, because they wanted to carry on that tradition. And Old Songs is near and dear to our hearts, and this is the oldest song I think we've ever played that we're about to do. The second one is called Como Podem Ter Sas Culpas.
Excellent.
And it is from the 13th century. That's pretty old.
13th century Spain, and I think it's a song about Mary.
And then the first tune we're going to do, it makes us think of Peter Ostrusko, but it's actually from his father. When Peter was giving a concert at Old Songs, we went to buy one of his recordings, and one that intrigued me was one of his father's Ukrainian band in Minnesota that was playing old tunes. And I said, I'd like to hear that. And we learned Balamuti, this tune we're about to do. And Peter said that on this music that's on here, the people in Ukraine don't know it hardly, because they, under Soviet rule, were not playing the old traditional things new and for Mother USSR or whatever. That's what you were to support. And so Minnesota, they've kept these tunes alive. It's kind of great that they have. You could say something about Peter passing. How about that?
Yeah, we have a cassette of his father's ukulele, mandolin orchestra. And yes, Peter is another
hard loss.
Yeah. And so I think of Peter when I play this tune for sure. We do. So. It has beautiful words, but we can't be expected to also sing those words.
During
Too
that
much to
time.
think about.
Oh, I just picked the same tune we just had. Oh.
Chris Calloway would appreciate this. I learned this tune, and I was playing it at Bennington, and our voice teacher, Tom Bogdan there at Bennington, knew the song and said, oh yeah, this is sung by madrigal groups, and it's a terrific song about Mary, the virtues of Mary. And so I said, it's this fabulous rhythm. It's written out in 6/8 and 3/4. So I asked Michael Wimberly, our distinguished percussion faculty member, I said, Michael, what's this rhythm called? It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. He goes, I know what that is. It's called I Want to Be in America. I want to be in America. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So it's okay. So
We're going to do a song by Penny Nichols. And Penny is a person who a lot of you might remember from Jay and Molly's radio show that would happen on Wednesday nights on WAMC. Penny would often sing with Molly and be a part of helping to run that program. But she also had a long career of her own that not all of us know because she was a background singer way too often. But originally, as a young woman who had grown up in California, she was the headline act, and her opener was Linda Ronstadt, for example. And it turned out Linda was maid of honor in her wedding. And the big deal that has to do with the song coming up is that Penny took care of her younger brother who was autistic. And he was still in so many ways this loving and important person in her life, and she'd introduce him to other people. And when she was running her winter songs camp, summer songs was here in at Ashokan camp. It was summer songs. She was teaching a songwriting class, and it was for duet songwriting. Two people together come up with a song and help each other to make it the best it can be. And she said to her brother, Rory, I'm teaching the class, but you're going to be my partner, and you and I are going to write a song. And just like all these other students, you're going to have to work on it. And so it turns out he said to her, well, I've already written it. You can put guitar chords with it if you want, or something. And he sang this song, and Penny didn't change much, but she did put lovely chords with it. It's called A Beautiful World, and it's about being at camp. So there's still a little bit of summer. We're on daylight savings time in these hours here, so we'll bring this camp song from Rory and Penny Nichols. I will, okay. You get started.
listen, for some of you who've been to Ashokan camp, you'll recognize from the old camp some things. There was a bridge. There was a little swinging bridge. When the bell rang, it was time for grub, and it was really good food. How green the trees are, so green they grow to the sky. The leaves and birds that live there are just learning to fly. There's so much life around here, it makes you feel so good. And now I know why God made such a beautiful world. There's water all around us. You can swim with the fish in the pond. The pier goes down to the bottom. bridge goes swinging beyond. There's so much life around here, it makes you feel so good. And now I know I got me such a beautiful world. We can cross the bridge together when the bell starts to ring. Find shelter from the weather until the birds can sing. Canoes are by the water. Let's take one out and have fun. Watch out for mosquitoes and wear your hat in the sun. There's so much life around here, it makes you feel so good. And now I know I got such a beautiful world. There's so much life around here, it makes you feel so good. And now I know I got such a beautiful world. Yes, now I know I got such a beautiful world.
Rory Nichols. Whenever it says we're going to do a couple tunes, and I'm going to play the second tune with the beat of my feet. And then we're going to take a little break and come back with more music. You'll have a chance to say hello to one another. The first tune is called Ducks on the Pond, and to me it sounds like it has Asian influence in the banjo on it, but there's certainly banjo type instruments in Asia, and I know that there are in Eastern Europe. 10 years ago, right now, it was during November, we got to be in Eastern Europe, and we got to play with a lot of Zaz players. And this has a lot of frets, but the saz that they played in Bulgaria and Turkey had 26 frets. And they were able to play, but it sounded so much like a banjo, and the one tune that they caught on to right away and that we could play together, and they were wizards at it, was Shady Grove. And it had a real nice, mysterious sound to it.
I said, why so many frets? I mean, how do you find your way? There's no dots, just frets this close together. And the player of this, it wasn't, this particular instrument that I'm thinking of was not the saz, I forget what it's called. But he said, quarter steps. Instead of half steps, they have quarter steps. And I went, oh, I'm confused.
But the second tune that we're going to play after Ducks on the Pond is called The Hangman's Reel.
Cold frosty morning.
Cold Frosty. Oh, we're going to do 3. Cold Frosty Morning, we had a couple of those, and then Hangman's. Okay.
Okay, great. Yeah, keep it up. And be sure to visit the John and Trish Mall over here on my right, your left, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Thank you. I hope you
magpie brings us tidings of news both fair and foul. She's more cunning than the raven, more wise than any owl. She brings us news of the harvest, of the barley, wheat, and corn. She knows when we'll go to our graves, how we shall be born. One's for sorrow, two's for joy, three's for a girl, and four for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, and 7 for a secret never told. Devil, devil, I defy thee. Devil, devil, I defy thee. Devil, devil, I defy thee. In 1991, in October, I was at a folk music weekend in Falls Village, Connecticut, and Greg Artzner and Terry Leonino, Magpie, sang that one. I immediately stole it from him, and that's just giving you a little prelim of maybe something you might hear next week, if you in 2 weeks, sorry, if you're here for the Magpie concert. So be here, hear the wonderful sounds of Magpie. Also coming up, and I have to look because I've forgotten in the last 2 minutes. Friday, December 3rd, Jam Crackers. Come hear some songs of the Spirit, some wonderful songs. I think it's a party, you know? You and then a Magpie and then Jam Crackers. And then December 12th at 2 p.m., a special concert about 100 years of fiddling with Donna Hebert, George Wilson, Max Cohen, Mana. Let's try that again. Molly Hebert Wilson. So be there as well, and then we're going to have lots of great stuff in the winter and spring. We are fortunately streaming this with the equipment loaned to us from the Dance Flurry organization, which were very generous to us, and till we raise that money, that we get our own streaming equipment. So thanks to Dance Flurry organization, and thanks to all of you for being here, and all of you at home too in Streamland. That's what we're going to call it, Streamland. So without any further ado, John Kirk Trish Miller.
John and Trish with Joy and Chris.
We've invited them to come back to help us with a song that we're going to do a cappella, and we'd like you to sing the chorus with us. And so we'll try to teach you how the chorus goes, and they are learning as we go too, so it'll be a process together. It's a song I learned from Debbie McClatchy. She said she was in a pub in Ireland, and she heard a woman sing it, and she asked her if she would tell her what's the song, and the woman didn't give her any title, and so she just calls it The Wife's Lament. But the chorus goes like this. Oh, Roy, oh, and a diddle-um-dandy, I want a man who tickles my fancy, brings me flowers and cherry brandy, and loves me night and morning. The first line's, oh, Roy, oh, and a diddle-um-dandy. Here we go. Oh, Roy, oh, and a diddle-um-dandy, I love a man who tickles my fancy, brings me flowers and cherry brandy, and loves me night and morning. Come and listen and I'll tell you of my darling Andy. He's tall and fair and slightly bandy. At drinking port, oh, he is quite handy. He loves me like the devil on Sunday. But Monday comes, his head is aching. It's round to the pub for cure he's making. Doesn't he know that my heart is breaking? He never makes love on a Monday. Oh, Roy, oh, and a diddle-um-dandy, I want a man who tickles my fancy, brings me flowers and cherry brandy, comes, he gets no bolder. There's pains in his back and his neck and shoulder. The weather's wet and it's getting colder. What an awful day is Tuesday. Wednesday passes very dreary. Thursday night he's feeling weary. Friday night, though I am quite cheery. 2 more days till Sunday.
Oh, Rio, and a diddle-dum-dandy. I want a man who tickles my fancy, brings me flowers and cherry brandy, and loves me night and morning.
Well, Saturday comes, he struts and prances. It's round to the pub like a madman he dances. It's 12 o'clock and I lost my chances. He's sleeping in the parlor. But Sunday comes and I'm feeling cozy. A man and his wife by the fireside rosy. That's the lot, though you're far too nosy. A wonderful day is Sunday.
Oh, Royo, and a diddle-dum-dandy. I want a man who tickles my fancy, brings me flowers and cherry brandy, and loves me night and morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, either one. We're going to play a set of jigs right now that, on the mandolin and guitar, and they come from Saratoga County,
Like us.
like us these days. And a friend of ours, great friend, who lives in Glenville, named Glenn Killian, found by going to an estate sale, which is he did quite a bit, looking for books, and he found at this one estate sale in Saratoga Springs these boxes of sheet music and some instruments, and he would go to this estate sale every other week or so when the people had come up from the city to open the sale and open the house. And these boxes of music all had this connection that we realized later. He at first would just bring us a box of sheet music, really old sheet music, Henry C. Work, Grandfather's Clock, the original printing, things like that. And then an instrument, and a sweet potato ocarina with instructions, and a roll monica, which was a harmonica that fit into a thing that looked like a 3D viewfinder. I remember as a kid, but this was something you put a harmonica in, and a little roll of paper with holes punched in it, like a player piano. And you rolled this thing and blew. This harmonica was the same notes as you blow in or blow or suck in. It's the same note, didn't change notes. So you could just kind of rebreathe, go like this and just play a song and get very dizzy. But you roll this thing and it played a tune. And it was quite an amazing thing. On one of those recordings, which we don't have here anymore, they're out of print, of Fiddle Tunes in the North Country, there was a recording of me playing it, but I realized I was going to make myself deathly ill if I did, because there was just all kinds of mold spores. I'm sure I was. Okay, let's change this over. So,
Yeah, there are great things about old treasures, and there are dangerous things about old treasures.
and so we found out when Len brought us this one book that was an old ledger book, and in the ledger book there were entries for every job the Lockwood family had played with these instruments and with this music. A father and son and other members of the family that played and called dances in Saratoga County. And in this ledger book, the entries went from 1895 to 1930. And then as we explored through these other boxes, we found that that Clarence Lockwood and his father had a band. The grandfather had a band. And the great-grandfather had a band. So it went all the way back to 1850s and 60s. And the fiddler for the 1850s bunch, the 1860s, was a man named Henry Wing, which is a family name in Greenfield Center. Wing Road is still there. He had a book of Excelsior violin tunes for dances, and he had taken the book and rebound it himself and put other tunes in that he had handwritten, things like that. So we found a lot of tunes in there. We're going to play those tunes for you.
Two of them we had never heard before. Many of them were tunes that are still played for contra dances. A lot of Irish tunes too. But the two we hadn't heard that we particularly like and will play now are Julia's Favorite and Lake Erie Jig. And then one that you might have heard because it's still played a lot that was in there was the Irishman's Heart to the Ladies. So we'll do those three.
Yes. And he wrote in this book in 1850s, he wrote, over some of the tunes, he wrote good. And over, you'd find another tune and say, very good. So we will now play a good tune and then a very good tune.
Oh, the two banjos, that's what's not, okay,
Let's do that.
yeah.
No,
Well,
let's, I guess we should,
probably
oh yeah, let's do that.
Seen these pretty banjos up here, and we want to play them for you now. A fellow named Dick Gilman made these banjos. A lot of you might know from the Newton Street Irregulars. They were a band that played at Old Songs a couple times, and they're very friendly folks. If you've ever had a connection out Fredonia way and you've seen the Folk in Fredonia t-shirts and stuff, that's Carmen and Dick Gilman that have kept a lot of programs happening out in Western New York for folk music. When they were in college, and Carmen says Illinois, when they were out there, they were part of the University Folk Club, and they had thousands of members, and they had a big budget, and so they would have all kinds of folk musicians of the time come there, and Frank Prophet was from North Carolina. John was the master tuner on these things, but he was the one who showed Dick Gilman his handmade banjo, and it was like this, no frets, no worries, and he played it beautifully. Dick was really taken with that, and he figured out how to make them himself, and has been sharing them with people, and he even happens to have some for sale if any of you are interested in getting one of these. But we both are going to play an old-timey tune called I Ain't Gonna Work Tomorrow.
Hey, Carmen and Dick are watching tonight. Hi, Carmen. Hi, Dick.
Hi, out there in Streamland.
Checks in the mail. Truthfully, it is. So this is, I've just got to say this because Dick just told me about this, and he knew that this wasn't spalted maple, which some of you may
Turn
know
it
that.
sideways so
that
they
name.
can see what you're talking about.
Yeah, and this striping in the neck is what I'm saying.
Striping.
And then you can see here this part of the rim. And Dick goes, no, I found it. It's not spalted maple. This is caused by the ambrosia beetle. So this is called ambrosia maple.
And this is curly maple. Ambrosia and curly out here. Those are the names of our band.
That should be the name of our new band. I'll be Curly. Thank you.
Oh, I ain't gonna work tomorrow, and I may not work Tuesday. Oh, I ain't gonna work tomorrow, for it might be a rainy day. Can you hear my banjo ringing? Can you hear that noise? Hear my banjo ringing? I'm singing till the sun They are fun. They're loads of fun to play.
Let's do a. wish I was a mole in the ground. If I was a mole in the ground, I'd reach that mountain down. I wish I was a mole in the ground. I wish I was a hole in the ground. I wish I was a hole in the ground. If I was a hole in the ground, I'd be a mountain upside down. I wish I was a hole in the ground. Thanks, Dick. So we're going to do a song now that also has a Dick and Carmen connection. And that is that we all know a man who's a poet from Eastern Oregon. His name is
Gaynor Dawson.
Gaynor Dawson. And Gaynor is a cowboy poet. He's written some lovely stuff. And he wrote this song about fishing. And Carmen, I think, first suggested, John, why don't you put some words, music to these words. So I did. It's called Some of the Best Days. And so words by Gaynor Dawson. Out fishing with his
And music by
brother
John.
and dad. And I go fishing on an annual trip with some great friends. We've become, it's the Split Rock Fishers kind of brotherhood. Although all of our wives are quite involved in this.
Ah, here it is.
And so we just, you don't need that.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So
Thinking of a different song.
we used to get out there in our younger days and brave the river, and now we
Tell stories.
sit around the fire and lie a lot. We love to do that.
No, you still go fishing.
Nothing stirs this soul of mine like a mountain breeze and the smell of pine. It takes me back to the lofty trees and the cold water of the Little Natchee, with lively pools and emerald falls, rapids slashing at the canyon walls, a pond reflecting summer sky, shattered when the cutthroat rise. Some of the best days I ever had were days spent with my brother and dad, chasing memories with a rod and reel, saving the best in a wicker creel, releasing the little ones back to the stream so they could fulfill tomorrow's dream. My father, my brother, and me, we're like a pod with just 3 peas, identical creases in our Stetson hats, leather puttees worn like spats, with canvas pants and wool plaid shirts, frayed throughout and stained with dirt, gentle souls in hardened faces, with all day smiles on sunburned faces. Some of the best days I ever had were days spent with my brother and dad, chasing memories with a rod and reel, saving the best in a wicker creel, releasing the little ones back to the stream. bacon and campfire smoke. 3 miles back and the hike was done to wet our lines in the first good run. Sometimes they'd strike and sometimes not, but it never mattered what we caught. It was all about being and being there, sharing the feeling hung in the air. Some of the best days I ever had were days spent with my brother and dad, chasing memories with a rod and reel, saving the best in a wicker creel, releasing the little ones back to the stream so they could fulfill tomorrow's dream. Some of the best days I ever had were days spent there, chasing memories with a rod and reel, saving the best in a wicker creel. Sometimes I wish I too were small, so they'd throw me back to relive it all. Can you read it? 'Cause that's it. Okay.
Yeah, I like that story.
I think I'm going to play this banjo.
Oh, good.
I
Okay.
don't know if
if you
maybe
think
it'll be
you
loud enough with your.
Do you need the words? Or
I
do
do.
you remember them? Okay, I'm gonna get them
This is a song that Trish wrote
a long time
that
ago.
we're going to do for you right
It's
now.
been a while since we did
Yes.
this one. I keep turning this off. I gotta.
Does it need my face?
It needs my face. Okay.
FaceTime. I like that there was a cartoon in the New Yorker of it was Facebook for dogs. But the dog is looking at this computer screen and it's just tales of other.
Tails.
It was called Buttface.
This particular too, I kept trying to get my nieces and nephews to do some clogging with me because I thought little kids, they just love dancing, and this clogging is sort of right up their alley because that's their style of dancing, a little this, a little that. So, but they didn't want me to give them directions. They wanted to freestyle. And so, anyway, this song I kind of put together a few words about my failed family clogging group.
This will not.
It's not loud enough.
It's not
I
gonna be
think
heard.
that's what's going to happen. And John put together the music too.
Well. Okay, I need a second. What else can you tell me, Drew?
Let's see, I should know something that I could tell on the way of joke.
Who needed Halloween? We were all wearing masks and eating candy for a year. I heard a funny thing about the fellow said, this woman wrote, I think it was on a Twitter post, said, my husband did the nicest thing. He came home with a map of the world and he put it on the wall and he gave me a dart. He goes, throw the dart wherever it lands. We're going for 2 weeks as soon as the pandemic's over. We're going to relax and chill wherever you hit. She goes, next year we're spending 2 weeks behind the refrigerator. The last, okay, there you go.
Too loud. You hear the noise over. It's cracking. There.
me to dance, but I'm not sure I want to take a chance. To prance and wiggle, make my body wriggle, join their circle, be silly and giggle. I'd like my steps to land just in time with the tune and the beat and this little rhyme. With grace and style, pitter patter all the while, glide and slide in a Harlem Hoofer style. Like a reluctant uncle who worries he will slip and twist his ankle. I like to rumble, waltz, tap like a rat, talk, shuffle, swing, and boogie with my aunts and dance.
Well, John has been watching a lot of YouTube shorts on electric cars. He really wants an electric car. And a self-driving electric car is kind of fascinating. So we've watched some of the videos about getting all the programming there together for that. Of course, I don't know when we'll ever be able to afford such a thing, but maybe if he could get some country singer to pick up this next song, then we could buy the pickup that the song's about. It's called My Pickup Let Me Down. That's what it's called. And John wrote it.
But Trish wrote the best line in the whole song. And you'll know what it is as soon as you hear it. It is the best line in the whole song. And it's a long song, so sit back, get a drink. Need a drink for this song.
Yeah, it's a country song. The girlfriend's gonna leave you. I can warn you.
Well, I'm just a good old country boy with my girl, my dog, and truck. But one day that pickup broke down on me, so I tried to change my luck. And I went down to the dealer, and I saw it, and oh my Lord, and I bought it right there and then, the world's first self-driving Ford. Now it was a revelation to sit behind the wheel. I could take a nap, I could eat a meal, I could even drink a beer. Well, I must have got so obnoxious, always being drunk and sometimes rude, that my girl left. She took the dog and my pickup left me too. Yeah, my pickup let me down, played it up and drove away. Could someone pick up my pickup truck if they see it along the way? That anomaly with autonomy has sent me high and dry. Yeah, my truck bumped and left me, and I still don't know why. Well, I guess that it got tired of hearing me sing my country songs. Well, when I hear Wynette, Weber, Willie, I just have to sing along. Well, I guess the day finally came when I changed my choice to singing Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber songs at the top of my voice. Well, my pickup let me down, played it up and drove away. Did someone pick up my pickup truck? Let me see it along the way. That anomaly with autonomy that left me high and dry. Yeah, the truck up and left me, and I still don't know. Well, one day I woke up behind the wheel. The GPS said we'd arrived. So I got out and stretched my legs. It felt good after the long drive. But then the door slammed shut. It locked itself. The transmission kicked in gear. And as the truck drove off, it honked its horn. I swear it said
Goodbye.
well, my pickup let me down, ran it up and drove away. Could someone pick up a pickup truck when they see it along the way? That anomaly with autonomy has left me high and dry. Yeah, the truck up and left me, and I still don't know why. Haven't got a clue. If I hadn't had my flip phone, I'd still be standing there today. So I called the police and told my tale. They had this to say: a truck by that description had been seen by a couple of hicks heading west down the road with a woman and a dog down 66. Well, my pickup let me down, wended up and drove away. Could someone pick up my pickup truck if they see it along the way? That anomaly with autonomy has left me high and dry. Yeah, my truck up and left me, and I still don't know why. Mandatory modulation. Well, then my truck came home for Christmas. Makes me want to cry. It's sitting out in the garage now, planning its next drive. Well, my girl's still gone, but I got a new dog. He's out howling at the moon. Yeah, my truck came home for Christmas, but I'm no longer blue. Yeah, but that pickup let me down, wended up and drove away. Could someone pick up that pickup truck? They see it along the way. That anomaly with autonomy had left me high and dry. But then the truck came home for Christmas, and I no longer cry. You know, that truck steered me wrong. That truck gave me the drive shaft. That truck left me flat, thank you. Nothing but taillights. I think we'll do Shenandoah.
Okay.
We can do a song, and then we'll do some tunes.
If you guys can sing with us the last go around on this, on the last verse.
I get to spend most of 2020 without a voice, without a singing voice. I don't know what I had in January or February of 2020, but was as sick as I've ever been. And but I got a case of laryngitis, and I got an ulcer on my vocal cord. And so I'm going to attempt this song for the first time since then in this key. We'll just see what happens here. But it's been slowly getting better. I went and saw a fabulous doctor at Albany Med. His name is Dr. Shapshay, and
You
It's
can't see him
amazing with-
because he's retired,
and
unfortunately.
he's not retired, but he's a fantastic doctor for singing. And for all of you who are singers, he said the most comforting words to me when he told me what was wrong with my vocal cords. He said, "This is not in your imagination." And that was great relief to my hypochondriacal part. We'll see if I can do it.
I bet you can.
I long to hear you far away, you rolling river, oh Shenandoah, I long to hear you far away. of your daughter far away. You rolling river, oh Shenandoah, there is no other far away. I'm bound away across the wide Missouri. A white man loved an Indian maiden far away. You rolling river with gold and jewels, his canoe was leaving far away. He's bound across the wide Missouri. Oh Shenandoah, I long to see you far away. You rolling river, oh Shenandoah, I long to see you far away. We're bound away across the wide Missouri. Across the wide Missouri.
That sounds so pretty.
Thank you. Thank you for that help. That's good.
Finish up.
Yes.
French Canadian. Show them how the footwork works.
Oh, so I'll do that. This time I'll play a little. We're going to finish with a French, a Quebecois medley. And we will.
This over, so you can sit
Oh.
and put your feet on this. How about that?
All right.
And I'll go over there.
All right.
And play guitar.
That sounds good.
So we'll go see do. So it's a tradition, and I like to paint the picture that we got from Bill Smith. He lives up in Colton, New York. It's just south of Potsdam. And his mother had a big farmhouse and would take in boarders. Well, it was amazing she had any room because she had 10 children. But she took in boarders. That's how Bill would say it. And they would have a dance at the house, and they'd move the kitchen table and chairs out on the porch, and they'd roll up the rug in the living room and put that out on the porch and push the furniture back, and you'd have at least a square of dancers in the kitchen and a square of dancers in the living room, and the fiddler and dance caller would sit on the stove. And he'd open the, it wasn't the wood stove, it was the cook stove part, and they'd open the oven door, and he'd put his feet on the door, and he'd be fiddling, keeping the beat with his feet, and calling the dances. And to me, that's quite a picture. But John is one of these people who can chew gum, tap his head, rub his stomach, and tell you a joke all at the same time. And so I don't think it's as much a problem for him as it would be for me. But
I'm not too old to ride the range.
we're going to do 3 tunes, so I don't expect you to keep dancing the whole time.
I don't expect you.
But why don't you show them what you're doing, just so they can get a little lesson. They can go home and sit in the kitchen and work on it. Some of you know how to do it already. Yeah. But if you just tap your right foot here if you want to, I'll get that going. And then alternate with the right foot and the left
No,
toe.
it's the right
it's
toe.
Right foot, right toe.
Yeah, so you're like,
Stamp, toe, stamp, and stamp.
If you
and
swing your leg
stamp,
in, your
and
toe is easy.
stamp, and stamp, and stamp, and
so
stamp.
that's and 1, and 2, and 3. And then this is going to do like this.
So it ends up being toe, toe.
And 1.
And 2. And
Yeah. Oh, you're good. Standing up. That's good.
I'm not going to do it while I play, though. I can't do that. Why don't you wait until we get going a bit, and then you can start with the feet. How about that? This is a tune called Bay of Fundy.
everybody. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody, very much.
Way to go, John.
I was saying the top of my head is sweating. That's been my,
It just pushed all the hair away. I'm teasing. Thank you for the invite back, and thank you very much to Joy and all the folks that keep old songs happening and running. We appreciate it. Very, very much. Thank you. Also, these concerts that are coming up are fantastic. I hope that you'll not only do that, but maybe buy yourself a membership for Christmas or for the holidays or whatever celebration to help celebrate this happening more. We need these arts programs. And, I appreciate being able to be a part of them, and John does too. We're going to do a lullaby to finish off.
I need to do it
You
in,
tell me.
I'll do it in E.
Okay.
There's a nice low key, pick a
I'll
low
find
key.
out. Can you tell them about it? It's an old tune.
It's an old song, melody. It's an old melody, and words by Bill Caddick, who recently passed away, and it's called John of Dreams. So
Think of the Sandman, those songs, but in England they talk about John of Dreams taking you the river of sleep.
okay. When midnight comes, good people hold trap. Seek now your blankets and your feather bed. Home is the rover, his journey's over, and for your boatman choose old John of Dreams. And for your boatman choose old John of Dreams. Across the hills the sun has gone astray. Tomorrow's cares are many dreams away. Home is the rover, his journey's over. Yield up the nighttime to old John of Dreams. Yield up the nighttime to old John of Dreams. Both man man and master in the night are one. All things are equal when the day is done. The prince and the plowman, the slave and the free man, all find their comfort in old John dreams. All find their comfort in old John dreams. Now as you sleep, those dreams come winging clear. Those hawks of morning cannot harm you here. Sleep is a river, flows on forever. And for your boatman, choose old John Green. And for your boatman, choose old John Green. Sleep is a river, flows on forever. And for your boatman, choose old John Green. And for your boatman, choose old John
Good night.
Can we take a bow? Thank you.
I should mention that this concert series and Old Songs is sponsored in part by the New York State Council on the Arts. So thanks to them, we continue to do what we do, and thanks to all of you, because without you, we wouldn't be here either. And you at home. Many hands make light work. If you can move your chairs to either side, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.